Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative. We do Avery Konrad from season 2 episodes rolling out on MGM Plus. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I was telling you before, I love this show so much, but this show is so scary. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like an argument could be made that this season is a little scarier than season 1, which I feel like is a hard thing to do because we were terrified in season 1.
Yeah, I think the horror of it is like definitely pumped up by a couple notches at least, which is like makes the intensity of the show so much stronger.
We didn't, get a chance to do an interview for season 1, so I want to ask, did it read like a horror show, like horror movie type show when you read the scripts for it, like when you first got cast for it?
That's really interesting. I think there's definite aspects to the horror genre, but when I read it, I didn't really think of it as a horror show. Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that because I remember talking about that last season. And I think because we're all trying to make the circumstances as real as possible for us as actors in the scene, that maybe, for me personally, obviously there's so many of us, but I never really thought of it as horror, even though it is. I know that's kind of a silly thing to say, but
100%. Your character just caused chaos nonstop in season 1. So much emotion from a lot of characters and a lot of kind of emotional damage is because of certain things that like Sarah has done to people close to kind of like some of the people like at some of the kind of houses, basically. Like, what was that like kind of seeing like season 2, knowing that like now we're kind of picking up where we left off, where like you're going to see all the anger towards Sarah, right? Like you see everything. It's a cause and effect, right? Like in the first season, you're doing all these things, but now we're seeing the kind of outcomes and repercussions in season 2, which I find interesting.
Exactly. Every time she's doing something, she likes to think that it's for the greater good of getting everyone home. And obviously she has a lot going on with like hearing these voices and trying to do the right thing and struggling with that, knowing that she has to do this terrible thing. And that's also eating her alive by having to make this huge sacrifice for what she thinks is going to like get everybody home, which is ultimately what we all want. So yeah, it was, for her journey for season 2 is definitely very different than season 1. You'll see a different side of Sarah. And we left off season 1 not knowing where Boyd and Sarah are going to go. So I'm excited for everybody to see kind of what all the writers came up with and where season 2 leads both of them. Was it
challenging for season 2 playing a character that most of the characters like don't like and have something against? Like, I feel like, Boyd is the only one, but I still think Boyd understands a lot of the damage that Sarah caused and he's trying to kind of figure it out. But is that challenging from an acting perspective?
Yeah, I think so. It was definitely challenging at some points, but at the same time, these are things that she's done. And she has to own up to at some point. After all the chaos is settled, she needs to sit and marinate, I guess, in these things, these terrible things that she's done. So I think the reality of what happened kind of starts to hit her, and you kind of see her deal with that in season 2, which is also very different than season 1 as far as Sarah goes and her story and her arc, which was a challenge in a very different way than season 1.
Oh, it's different kind of storylines. Again, though, it's the cause and effect, which I think is really, really interesting to see with this character because And Sarah understands that she's caused a lot of harm. I think she understands deep down, but I think it's hard for her to understand that people really don't want her around. Do you know what I mean by that? There's like this push and pull.
Yeah. It's a hard situation for everybody to be in. And again, like she thought she was doing the right thing, but it never really was. So yeah, it's really interesting. Again, like just seeing a different side of her and being able to play a different side of her was really interesting to come into it from that perspective, having so much happened in season 1 with her. And yeah, it was really cool to come in with all that weight and starting off from there.
One of my favorite things about this show, I mean, 2 things. I mean, I'm a big horror movie fan, so I just love the fact that this is probably one of the scariest like TV shows I've ever watched. And like, that's one of my favorite things. But I think, and Lost did a good job with this, and I got to chat with Harold about this briefly. From does a very good job of basically diving into a lot, because there's a lot of characters on the show, right? And like Colony House and everything. But I feel like everyone has their time to shine in terms of like us kind of getting to know them and getting to know their growth and like where they come from. You know what I mean? It's not just kind of like people showing up here and there. Like I feel like the screen time in this show is fantastic in regards to every time people are on screen, you learn something about their characters. Do you know what I mean by that a little bit?
Definitely, yeah. Because we are an ensemble cast and there's so many everyone's so interesting and plays a part into this giant puzzle that hasn't been put together yet. So exactly what you're saying, every time someone has a scene, it's important. Like there are no quote unquote throwaway scenes or filler scenes, because everything takes a place for a reason. And kind of shows where they are and where they might go. And I think there are little Easter eggs in all of the scenes with people, which is what makes it so interesting and intriguing, because every moment means something.
What is your mindset kind of in regards to kind of the fans getting to see season 2? Because people loved season 1. People were so excited when it got renewed. People are finally going to be seeing season 2. But I feel like, you know, so much kind of happens. We pick up where we left off. But like, how excited are you for the fans to finally watch season 2 of From?
I'm really excited. I'm also still kind of like in disbelief that it's happening already. It kind of feels like a blur. Yeah. Like all of it, even filming feels like a blur. And just, I was saying that we had the premiere last night. So yeah, I was talking to a lot of people about it, and I just was saying like, yeah, lots of it feels like a blur. So being able to see everyone's hard work come to life. And I think season 2 is like everything's amped up, which is really cool. The performances are brilliant.
Big time.
Yeah, the story's great. Everything's just like so much more refined because we're settled in this world that we're in, which is really cool. And also to bring new people into the world is very interesting and cool to have them on the show as well and watch their struggles and stories kind of unfold on screen as well.
I feel like the ultimate goal, no matter what, from a showrunner creative perspective, Avery, when a show gets kind of renewed for a new season, I think the ultimate kind of overall goal is making it better than the previous season.
Of course,
I think that's kind of the main thing. And then with that in mind, I think that it becomes hand in hand with the kind of like everything being upped, right? Because everything needs to be upped for it to be better than the first season, especially with a show like this, where I'm going to tell you honestly, and Sarah had a big part of this, right? I watch a lot of TV and a lot of movies. It's part of the gig, right? I genuinely will tell you that the last episode of season 1 of From is probably one of the best episodes of television I've seen in a long, long time. Like, it's one of my favorite. It was unbelievable. You caused so much problems. You trapped Boyd, kind of. There's spider webs. Like, what is going on in that episode?
I don't know. I don't know.
How chaotic was that last episode, though? Like, it was so chaotic.
It was wild to shoot 9, and because we do block shooting, so we're shooting 9 and 10 at the same time. So there was like seizures happening, and we were in the rain for two days under rain towers for hours. and I had to get him in the tree, and we're like hooked up to things, hanging up, like standing up on a mountain, we're climbing things. It was insane. So again, kind of feels like a blur. Also, that scene when we're in the tent and we get pulled.
Yeah.
We were in the studio, and they built kind of like this stage that moved like this, which was really interesting to shoot as well. But I got to do a lot of new stuff in the last block, as far as like being outside, and the rain towers were so intense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The chaos is fun though. I like it.
It was crazy. I did want to ask you about one of my favorite kind of movies of last year that you were in was Honor Society with Gary Rice and Gaten Matarazzo on Paramount Plus. I love that movie so much. I think that movie redefined the romantic comedy in regards to so many things that happen in that movie are so elevated, kind of what we were talking about, right? About like elevating your game and everything from the writing and what happens in that to all the characters is so elevated and fresh and unique in a way. I mean, what was that like, kind of reading the scripts for that movie? Because I can't even imagine reading that script, because like that script, when certain things get revealed about certain characters and everything, holy moly, like I can't even imagine. Like, was it cool?
It was so cool. We had a table read. Well, we did it on Zoom before we started shooting. So to hear it come to life and seeing everyone, do their thing was really exciting, because that was like obviously everyone's first time hearing it out loud, and it was really cool to hear, and it was really funny. And like I was saying to you before we started the interview, is like I feel it's new school, but also brings the things that we love about like those old 90 movies back, that you don't necessarily you don't have that feeling when you watch certain movies these days. And I think that that's what makes it so special, is it kind of molds both of those worlds together, which is really cool. And yeah, the performances are so good, and everyone was really funny, and we just had so much fun making it. It was a blast.
I actually rewatched it like a month ago because it's so good. Because if it's so, I feel like I love the romantic comedy genre, because I feel like there's so many amazing movies in it right now, and they're all like ending different, and they're doing different things, and like character arcs just kind of get like there's so many, like it's so topsy-turvy with some of these arcs. Like some of these characters you like meet, you're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna end up with this person, and it's like, nope, just not kidding. Even close. Well, I mean, like it's been up for a while, so I mean, for people that haven't seen it, spoiler alert, but what they did with Gaten's character, like I did not see that coming at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think people like watching it. We like had a premiere, and then I watched it like with some family and friends, and I knew all of them thought they knew what was going to happen, and then when it didn't go the way they thought it would, everyone was like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I told you this one's different.
Goodness, it was man, that show, that movie was so good. And then two amazing projects, Avery, like this is crazy.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
What is your favorite element? We've established there's like the horror movie, there's the horror element. We meant like there's the drama, there's the communal kind of element, there's the action and everything, the supernatural is there. There's so many elements in From an MGM Plus. But what is your favorite element, or one or like two of your favorite elements?
Oh man, that's really hard. I think it's hard to pick one, because without one, if you take one away, it wouldn't make the show what it is, if that makes sense. So it's hard to pick one or two that I like so much, because I think they all play.
Because if there's no drama, then you're not going to get, like, if there's no drama, then the stuff that makes us uncomfortable and feel scared isn't going to be as effective, right? Like just stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're declining to answer that question. Not in a nice way. You're declining.
No, I just think that it's all very important.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if
100%.
if you take the monsters away, then you know what I mean. Like, it's all every part is plays an important role, and I can't.
That
I can't
that smiling guy.
Yeah,
They put him on the poster for season 2. Oh man, they put him on the poster. Like, everyone had like nightmares, and then it's like,
that's the point of the show.
Yes, but now every time I look at a poster for season 2, he's there, scaring me, not just in my nightmares during the day. No, it's so great. Episodes rolling out on MGM Plus. Avery, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your Instagram account, is it just Avery Konrad?
It's Aves Konrad, so AVES.
Perfect.
Konrad.
But it's one of those things, if they put Avery Konrad in Instagram, they'd find it, right?
Yes. Yeah, you'd
absolutely. I always mess up the handles. I'm always like, assume like everyone has their handle. And it's like, actually, it's Ave Konrad. And they can check out new episodes of season 2 of From on MGM Plus. And if they haven't already.
It comes out. You can stream season 1 is all released, and then season 2 comes out on Sunday, so a couple days away. And we're all very excited for everyone to see season 2 and what we've been working on.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Pop Turner. YouTube.com/PopTurner for previous episodes. Until next time, it says Avery Konrad, who plays Sarah in From season 2, episodes rolling out on MGM Plus. And PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.